Arlington National Cemetery, where America pays tribute to its fallen troops. From the tomb of the unknown soldier to the final resting place of prominent Americans, such as President John F. Kennedy, Arlington Cemetery is hallowed ground that is now embroiled in a controversy over media access. Press coverage of military funerals is only permitted when the grieving families give their consent. But there are complaints that access is being restricted, with reporters kept too far away to hear or record the funerals of those soldiers killed in Iraq. Amy Nyberger Miller, whose brother Christopher Nyberger was killed in Iraq a year ago, says her family agreed to media coverage of the burial, but she says she was dismayed by the restrictions.
It would not have taken a lot for a microphone to have been run from where the media were so that they could hear the eulogy. It wouldn't have taken much. I mean, not that we wanted them shouting questions or running up after us or anything like that, but I did want my brother's life to be honored.
Without recorded sound, this is the result.
And by taking away the sound and really blocking the line of sight, I think you take away some of that memory.
Gina Gray was the cemetery's public affairs director until June.
You can see on some of the headstones you've got a lot of unknown.
A veteran of the Iraq War who worked for years in Army public affairs, she was fired after only 3 months on the job because she says she pressed for better press access to military funerals.
Well, it's been my experience that most families want the story of their loved one told. You know, they want to feel like that sacrifice is not for nothing. And they are beautiful stories. And the way that we bury people at Arlington, whether you are for or against the war, whether you believe in the military or not, the way the military treats the dead as they send them off is a beautiful, beautiful ceremony.
It is in Section 60 where some of those killed in Iraq are buried. And with more than 4,000 Americans dead so far, some say the government's aim at Arlington is to limit the public's exposure to the casualties of war. The long-standing Pentagon prohibition against media pictures of returning war dead is cited as another example of this. These images taken by the U.S. military were obtained under the Freedom of Information Act. Lucy Dalglish heads the Reporters Committee for Freedom of the Press, a group that works on behalf of journalists' legal rights.
It impinges on press freedom in the sense that, it makes it more difficult to cover what's going on with the war on terror. Certainly, cemetery, military burials are part of that story. It doesn't tell the whole story, but it tells a very important part of the story.
The Pentagon has said little publicly about the matter. An official says Army Secretary Pete Guerin is reviewing the policy of media access. Spokesman Jeff Morrell was asked about this review Tuesday.
And it's a balancing act, and it's based upon the wishes of the family. And we're trying to work out a system which allows for the grieving families to have the privacy and the room that they need, and the press to have the access that they wish for.
But for Amy Nyberger Miller, a public affairs specialist for a group that supports military families that have lost loved ones, a lot is at stake.
Our country has sent a group of amazing people overseas, and some of them are making the ultimate sacrifice. And they are not just a number in a newspaper with a name. There is a lot more there, and I think the American public could learn more about them.
For now, many say the public is not, despite the wishes of some of the grieving families. Bill Rodgers, VOA News.